How can we diversify the economy? And if we're able to get this, then within 10 years, we're able to have a fantastic, holistic, well-defined roadmap, financial strategy.
Have you sold this idea to President Tinubu?
Well, I've not talked to Tinubu in recent time. I spoke to him last when we were doing the campaign on Abadan projects. And he agreed with me. We had some classes in his bedroom. And he was fantastic leader and a very good listener. And then, of course, he was there to implement some of my ideas. And, of course, I ran away to the Riverine area to look for a vote to come to the Senate. So we didn't. This one I gave you, I just gave for free. Otherwise, I would have been able to charge you some hundred thousands of millions of dollars into that. It's only simple advice. So people have gone to Cambridge to study. I'm the first human being to get Doctor of Business from Cambridge since 2009. And I finished my thesis 3.5 years. I graduated 6 months behind schedule. I have master's in mega project in Oxford. I have MBA in Cambridge. I have LLM in Harvard. Come on. I have invested in knowledge. So if I'm telling you all of this, it's something Nigeria can do. But if you don't consult people that have the knowledge to give you...
But you are a member of the APC.
Yes.
I mean, shouldn't you be offering some of this knowledge that you have to your party?
Did the APC pay my school fees?
But why are you a party?
Did the APC go to me in Cambridge when I was sovereign and riding on bicycle, and I had to put private jet back and fall down 3 times on bicycle?
But what's the essence
and I was crying at night.
What's the essence of you going into politics?
It doesn't matter. I will give my knowledge, but you can't force me to give my knowledge. Come on, you have to be appreciative. You need to come to me and ask and give me the respect. Then I'll give you the knowledge. You don't want to do that. If you are my son, I will not give you. It's easy to come by. It's so easy.
You talked about the abandoned project,
yes.
Dr. Ibrahim.
Yes.
What I've heard you say that the kind of abandoned project that Nigeria has is over 1,000, if I'm correct. Is that right?
So we have 11,866 federal government abandoned projects in Nigeria. 3 of those projects is 40% of national debt. I named them. Ajaokuta, $6 billion spent, 42 years on site, no one single road produced. Shiopi, $6.4 billion spent, it doesn't have address anymore. Second Niger Bridge, 34% completed, more than 10 years, a decade into the project. What is wrong with Nigeria?
The National Library?
The National Library, $375 billion spent, and then, of course, it's at 4th floor. I asked Jonathan, during the time I was taking my questionnaire. And I said, Mr. President, why is it that you didn't complete the National Library? He said, Jimoh, when I came to office, I called them to bring the file. They brought the file, and they said the National Library is going to 13th floor. And then 13 floors, okay, where are we now? 4th floor. Okay, he told them, give me an estimate to roof the National Library at the 4th floor. The civil servant brought an estimate that is more than taking that National Library to 13th floor. So Jonathan has up. He cannot sign it, so he left it. When Buhari came, to continue 18 years abandoned National Library, you need 337 billion naira. Buhari kept his pen. He cannot sign. The library is there abandoned. Why do you need a National Library in a 36 state? The 36 state citizens, 350 million will come to Abuja to come and read. This is a complete madness. 11,886 federal projects are abandoned. I have the list. That's the central piece of my PhD. And if you want to get the list from me, I mean, you have to pay a bit. You know, I don't just work for free. I'm a businessman. You just have to pay for it. And if 3 of your projects...
You sound like one of my friends way back when I was doing my master's. We call him the intellectual arrogant guy.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You sound a bit of like...
I have been able to deliver speeches, lectures, a technical session of International at the Time Monetary Fund spring session. It doesn't come for a free, for a ride. It comes with money. I have been given an offer to stay in Cambridge and lecture. I supervise 2 PhD for University of Cambridge currently. I have offer for directorship of United Nations. I'll just sit down here and then you just take my brain for free. It's not going to work. I have basket of solution to Nigeria problem. If you look at your abandoned project, you can never grow in this country unless your abandoned project is resolved. And Aswaju, you fantastic guy, and I'll be honest with you. I told him, why do you want to have Ministry of Special Duty rather than you to have Ministry of Mega Projects? We are still doing mega projects today, and they have been abandoned by a successful government. Buhari came, how many projects was he able to do from the list of 11,886? Buhari still appropriated money, even to Ajaokuta, to make it even worse. He even bought over Ajaokuta from the privatized people and pay $500 million. That's complete embarrassment. If you are to do a green feed Ajaokuta today, you need $1.2 billion. You wasted $500 million with 3 months to the end of your government, and you think Nigeria will be able to...
Ibrahim, there are those who think that Nigeria needs,
yes,
from medium to long-term economic plan, an agenda that will surpass government,
yes,
that will help the nation focus on its priorities based on its resources and revenue projections.
Yes.
Do you think so? And how do we start that kind of idea if we were to move forward?
Diagnose the problem of Nigeria. You are talking economic theories.
What's the problem of Nigeria from your own
diagnose Nigeria problem? Abandon projects. If you don't stop, if you see a president that does not talk about abandoned projects in his campaign speech, is a failed president. 11,886 federal government projects. I'm not talking, Sheon, about 36 states government abandoned projects or local government 776. I'm talking about just federal government. And I investigated 40 of these projects. 40 comparison, same sector. You know, I pick, why is Ajaokuta failing? Why? Why should we have Ziguero not completing on time? Cost overrun, schedule delay, benefit shortfall, over and over again, and we're in a country, we will still have a budget for this year Constitutional Assembly with abandoned project not being mentioned.
Should the president decide to consult you
yes,
and ask you to work with him, will
yes,
you jettison your senatorial seat and work with the president?
If I have the respect, I'm not going for money. I just declare over $1 trillion asset to BP Bureau or public bureau, what do we call it, public bureau, whatever we call it. So I'm not looking for money. My life ambition is my knowledge, and I have 9 university degrees.
Are you willing to use that knowledge for your nation?
I'm ready to use that for my nation, but I cannot be coerced. Understand that?
All right, let me take you to yet another very important. Yes. You've touched on the economy.
Yes.
Security is a major issue.
Yeah.
And what I read about you mentioned the issue of Boko Haram.
Yes.
And you were one of those who've criticized the manner in which Nigeria approached the fight of insecurity in this country.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, I wrote my second PhD on Boko Haram, interestingly. Now, the issue is that Nigeria has spent $1.2 trillion on Boko Haram in the last 10 years.
1.2 trillion.
1.2 trillion on Boko Haram. Google it. 1.2 trillion on Boko Haram in the last 20 years. Students that left NDA as a lieutenant, they have become major general in Boko Haram, and the war is still there. So I asked 3 questions. Is the military a challenge to ourselves? No. Boko Haram is a political problem. You have to look at political consideration. So you have to socialize politically to stop Boko Haram. The first thing Mr. President to do is to withdraw soldiers from the front of Boko Haram and return them to the barrack. Do you think Boko Haram will carry the gun and be shooting himself? When you use unconventional strategy to approach unconventional war, you are going to fail. The military strategy here isn't the best. Military is using conventional war strategy to confront unconventional war. Boko Haram is a conventional war. You can't deploy troops. You need to look for information gathering. You have to look at socialization. You need to meet stakeholders. You have to do meetings. But when we are not in Russia against Ukraine. That's the conventional war.
What would you advise President Tinubu to do?
To go into political socialization. But I don't like to be giving this thing for free. I told you, I'm not a free man. You know, I don't really like it. But whether it works because you are mentioning Tinubu, I try to be compassionate. I've seen president there. I've been to any president. I'm a CFR. I could see any president anytime. But let me tell you, to be honest with you, you have to socialize domestically. Assuming you have spent 10% or 1.2 trillion on political socialization, Boko Haram will have disappeared. But you spend 89% on factor that is not statistically significant to confront Boko Haram. Boko Haram will be there, and who will stop it? Nobody can stop it. Unconventional war have historical trajectory.
So that also transposed into the issue of banditry.
Yes.
In the Northwest.
Of course, more things will come up in those areas. And the fact, again, don't forget, government failure. Hadija hydro irrigation project in the north ought to have been completed and supply water to those greens area so that those cows can suck the greens instead of them traveling down. And don't forget that even in the northeast you talk about, poverty rate is 76%.